And, well, we'll have to have a look. The Shadow Strike is something that's pretty dangerous to be able to lane into these days, especially with the heal component.
Yeah, especially because this is Citrus's arguably best hero at the moment. They've been picking it a
Most
ridiculous
picked hero,
amount.
at least, yeah.
Yeah, and
Dire team back.
I also really like that they protected the Drow with the Lion pick, because you know you highlight it, like to deal with the Drow, you need to get on top of her. So Spirit heroes always jump out to you, but you're going to pick that into a Lion, which can be very scary because James, or aka Yif, is exceptional position 4 player, always finds farm, is going to have a great blink timing, and that could be an issue. If they get one catch, then you can follow up. Drow's damage from afar, Queen of Pain as well. And I think now Ragdoll, they're going to be looking. They got the 24th, which they really like to save for GY. I'm looking for a Legion Commander here. This is something that they love to pair with the Drow through the qualifiers. It's really good versus what Spawn.496 have. And just to save for the Drow and some form of initiation as well. You really want to be the ones up in their face, because the Queen of Pain, you can jump in, but you're not super tanky. You're going to be vulnerable. You can't really tank up as many spells. Legion half fills that. You probably could get a better one, but for also the saving aspect, and they love running it. Like, this is just a Ragdoll true and blue draft here from them.
Yeah, I mean, for them, it's very clear. Everything is based around this Drow Ranger, right? Like, what I was talking about before, the other heroes might not necessarily benefit from the marksmanship, but when you've got a player like VT Faded, who's shown time and time again that he's a good Drow Ranger player, they're just like, all right, just make sure we're doing absolutely everything that we can to protect him. I mean, like you mentioned, the Legion Commander, again, it's just someone that can stand on the front lines, take a lot of attention away from him. And even like once he gets the Aghanim Shard, right, you just toss that onto him. Even if you're getting caught inside the arena, you don't need to commit your BKB. You can just walk on out, layer out the multi-shot, and, you know, look to be quite effective in that way. But they didn't ban it out, still left in the pool. So you would have to assume that's what Ragdoll are going to go with their last pick overall. Now, the question is, how are they going to look to respond to this? The PL has been banned out. They don't have any of that amazing save. So the Faceless Void, I feel like, was quite a good ban. I still don't mind the Spectre here. Like, none of these really want to go into... I guess the Drought could Silver Edge, but they're going to Anti-Mage instead. I'm going Ragdoll.
Yeah, I hate it.
They're all about, like,
that
snowballing through you in 25 minutes, and Anti-Mage is going to, maybe, if he has an excellent game, going to have his third item by that point.
That's the Slaughter ban makes a lot of sense. One, because to amplify the Drow, but it's the best counter to the Anti-Mage by far. So I can see the thought process. Just Legion Commander. Whenever you see an Anti-Mage, you go for heroes with a passive that doesn't rely on mana. Slaughter the best for what we highlighted. Legion next. They might consider... I'd put Pango further down on the list. The only reason I'm highlighting is because I think GY is an exceptional Pangolier player. They're very comfortable with it. It's into a bit of a counter in the Grimstroke, but they can play around it, and it gives you a lot of chain control as well. So I think Pango, Legions in the question.
Just LC.
Yeah,
like the one thing that they're lacking is like consistent lockdown, and I feel like LC provides that, right? You're against a Dark Willow who's going to be Shadow Realming, you're against a Ember Spirit who could just Remnant away, and of course the Anti-Mage with the Blink, right? So you just want something that's going to lock them in position and allow Drow Ranger to do work with the use of that duel, and I feel like LC does that, plus provides protection for Drow, plus is the one remaining really good offlaner for to be up against this Anti-Mage. You don't care that you've got no mana because you've always got that counterattack. See how they look to go, though. They're taking their time to think about it. Maybe, I mean, have you played much Dota since the most recent patch? The one where for the first 3 minutes of the game or until first blood, you're not able to pause at the start of the game?
Legion Commander.
Wait, what? You're not allowed to pause anymore. So the time for smoke breaks and bathroom breaks at the start of games is over.
Wait, hang on, is that actually true?
Mm-hmm.
In pubs or?
I love it. In pubs. I'm not sure about pro games. Yeah.
But what happens if someone DCs or?
BL.
Wait. Oh, okay. Interesting.
It's made me a little hesitant to queue because I don't want to be in that situation where, you know, I've got my mid invoker going up against a Viper and then they DC for 3 minutes, come back level 1 against a level 4 Viper, and we've just lost the game.
Yeah.
but
I didn't know that was a thing, honestly.
overall it's good. Oh, and VT Faded has the Drow cosmetic as well. I mean, he plays enough of the hero.
But this is a sick Mars set too. I haven't seen this version of the shield. Is it?
I think that might be the Crimson Witness one from TI9.
I don't know, but I've not seen this version of the shield at all. So that is very cool.
I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure that's some big money TI9 set right there.
I mean, you guys are going to have to see when we get in. Yeah, no one can see right now. So we did call the Legion. It just felt like this is literally a Ragdoll draft. They've got everything they ever wanted. We've seen this draft so many times. And I tell you what, I've been baited way too many times as well by the anti-mage. I think this hero is absolutely atrocious. There's no
you're on
way.
the train. You're on the train.
Like
Let's go.
I've seen an AM game and I'm like, okay, this is a good anti-mage game. If there's ever a game it's gonna win, it's this game. And it doesn't win. I don't get it.
And I feel like this is a bad anti-mage game.
I don't like it at all. I don't know, like there were a lot of carries banned out. Like Ragdoll put a lot of emphasis on getting rid of melee carries that could jump the Drow. But I feel like you may have found something else instead of the anti-mage. But regardless, are we both on Ragdoll's train here? Yeah, okay. So we're both 9 and 9 at the moment with the predictions as well. So heading into this, it's still
pretty solid. Yeah. I think we're like 80% with our predictions overall, which is pretty good. Probably a bit more than that, to be honest, like 82 or something like that. By the way, it is the TI9 set on the Mars, looking very good there for red. It kind of he's role playing a little bit, right? He needs the red set for his name.
100%. I'm surprised you can see that. Very cool.
I know what Crimson looks like.
Oh, let's see this Drow actually, Arcana. Are you a fan of it?
It's all right.
I like it.
I mean, I like it too, but the thing is, I guess the set's good enough that you don't need the extra cosmetics to go in on top of it. It's the ones like the Mirana that kind of get to me, that she looks nice, like that's kind of what the player model should look like, but it's a little plain, right? And I've got so many Mirana cosmetics that I want to be using. I kind of wish that they just made that the new model as opposed to a persona, right?
Yeah, I get you. Wow. It takes a while to get to the Drow Arcana. It's a bit behind a wall, but we get to at least we get to have some nice eye candy for us in this game. There's some pretty good sets going around, but for Ragdoll, do you reckon? I've always said sets and Corries, I really do think they give you a little bit of a boost. You know, I'm a big fan of the Baby Roshans, maybe because they are like $300 worth. That's why they look so good. But whenever I saw a team with more Baby Roshans, I'm like, all right, how can they lose?
Oh, but look at Ember Spirit's courier on the Radiant side. That I've never seen that little Ursa before. That's really cute.
Is it? My dude looks like he'd rip you apart. I don't know.
Bearsky. He's one of the Cubs, you know?
Yeah, he's still probably just... He's not cute.
He's cute.
What do you mean? Green eyes, fangs? He's just gonna...
Well, it did look like green eyes to me, but we've got 10 seconds left. They've scouted out the Observer Ward in the mid lane, and so it looks like Menu Pink is going to be able to pick that one up. Nice early gold and experience infusion for him. Of course, as an Undying, that's very good. And as is tradition, first game of the day, let's crack open a Mate to be able to power us through this one. But we think that this game should probably be over within, what, 30 minutes or so, you reckon?
Yeah, I think so. Just Ragdoll have executed this draft way too many times. We're pretty grim right now for Spawn.496's lineup. What has to work for them to be able to take this game? What's the avenue that you can see?
You kind of mentioned it. Grim. The Grim Stroke is the one that needs to make sure he's always in position there to be able to, get that little bit of a counter initiation off. We've always got the Dark Willow that's able to respond to a lot of this stuff. I mean, look at Ghost. He's already down to like 20% HP because of the harass coming out from GY and Yif. But yeah, Ohio, if he's in position to assist the Ember Spirit, who's again dropping low in that mid lane, or get the the Phantom's Embrace onto a Quap that might be diving a little bit too deep, and maybe they turn around and burst him down, that's going to go a long way. You know, it's all about their positioning, making sure that while that's happening, a Drow Ranger isn't bursting down the rest of their lineup.
What's the deficit you think coming out of this laning stage here for Spawn.496? I'm gonna go 3k deficit at 10 minutes in.
I was thinking 3k, yeah.
I feel bad for just bullying them.
I mean, it's not bully, it's just like...
I mean, when you ping's just solo killing the Dark Willow. Was without really the multi-shot at all. It was just towards the tail end.
But the other thing is, like, Menu Ping, he doesn't have boots and he doesn't have an Orb of Venom. So I just don't see how you're in a position where you're getting picked off there, right? Like, how is he catching you? You've got this Dark Willow who, you know, you've got a Ring of Protection yourself. Sure, you're a tiny bit slower than the Undying, but you've got multiple ways to be able to stop him from just chasing you down. So, Xiaobonbon, a bit of a misplay there. He does at least avoid the double decay, but, you know, VT Fated's consistently going to look to bully you out of this lane.
And this is not an easy lane for Red. An Undying matchup versus Strength Hero, really favorable. The Drow is hard to play into as well. They will get an opportunity though to dish out a little bit of damage on VT Faded, but now with the Undying showing up, they'll turn it back around on Xiaobonbon. As the slows consistently raining in from downtown as now VT Faded. You know, you can't really lock onto the Dark Willow, so they'll just turn back to Red. And with all the creeps nearby, that bonus damage with a Soul Rip is plenty to get rid of the Mars. And that's just what I was trying to bring up. This matchup for the Mars is not easy at all. And he's going to miss a lot of creeps.
Well, yeah, there's lots of them getting denied up here, VT Faded, making sure he's not prioritizing pulling or anything like that. It's just making sure that this Mars's lane is as horrible as possible. I think there was 4 denies that we saw come through there.
Yeah, it's very, I mean, what is it, 15 to 5 compared to the 10 and 0 already with that one death.
VT Faded has to be a little bit careful though. He stepped into
they got the level 3
brambles.
though from Menu Ping. Soul Rip unfortunately not able to get it off fast enough. VT Faded's not going to stand his ground though. The numbers disadvantage. He's still going to be cautious, but Xiaobonbon actually overstepped the boundary.
He's got the Shadow Realm,
Faded
though.
feels like he
He's
can
trying to
push
bait
on
him in.
forward. Waiting for that use of the Shadow Realm. He'll get it the last second, but they need the vision. He's not going to find it, and now VT Faded. One more little poke from the arrow. It's already Drow with 2 kills.
That's the sort of thing where it's just a lack of communication, right? Like Red was back in the lane. If he's a little bit more forward, you can either continue to harass VT Faded and he has to walk back more underneath the tower, or he continues to commit on forward to Dark Willow, who, to her credit, Xiaobonbon didn't reveal the fact that he had the Shadow Realm leveled up until the very last second. And, you know, maybe you catch out VT Faded with Red being able to join in through the tree line. But instead, he was just in the lane farming creeps, and Xiaobonbon unfortunately was left on a little bit of an island there. He made the rotation mid to give a little bit of help.
GY. This is a big kill for Spawn.496, and yeah, they'll get it.
All right.
Something really not expecting. I mean, Grimstroke with a hero that has an 8 gap close in the laning phase is really, really strong, but GY just overplaying what he could early.
But he's got the boots of speed now, right? That plus the single point into the overwhelming odds, he's always going to be able to just run away from this anti-mage.
Does look like his lane's going pretty decent though, regardless, for Ghost. 24 and 1.
So in the pregame, his most recent pub experience was 24 and 2 on the anti-mage in a win, so clearly feels confident in the hero. I just don't feel confident about its prospects once, you know, the 10-minute mark comes up and, you know, you're forced to just sit back and let the rest of your team do the work. I feel like Ragdoll, they're a sort of team that won't let you have that luxury. They're going to constantly be running at you as soon as they get their first item.
Not even those items as well, just the ultimates. I mean, you can see it come out when they look to get aggressive. Just a little bit of a backstab here for the Undying. Yeah, they're going to utilize once again Spawn.496 being pushed up too far in the lane. Spear actually doesn't connect on the tree, so it might cost Red his life. Soul Rip not on a high enough level to provide the damage. So the Mars is able to TP out to safety. He's back to the T1 tower, so not all the way to the fountain. They might look to go again. It might actually catch VT Faded by surprise. But an early level here with the Silence.
Very good. He was holding that point for the longest time as well, so Red was closing in. Probably could have thrown the spear a little bit earlier, to be honest, to latch him up together into that tree, but Doesn't do it, and VT faded.
In the river,
survives
we're gonna have a little
VT.
battle occurring. Both the position 2s have a support to help out for the rune control, and well, if he sacrifices his life, he denies the rune, but yeah, it's gonna give the kill over to Ohio nonetheless. That looks to get a kill on Undying top lane too. So Radiant 4 kills have kept back throughout the later stages here of this laning phase, doing quite well to not have the early deficit. So just under 1,000.
A little bit better than expected. They've just actually put the lead a little bit more into their favor. Just kind of thinking like with Citrus's skill build going into the Scream of Pain, maybe wanting to start to take some of those stacks in the near future. See, for me, like he's taking this one now, I feel like you're more well off if you're able to stack that and then take both small camp stacks at the 7-minute mark, just because your likelihood of picking up a neutral item is going to be so much
Look how
higher.
they're playing together.
There's that
Citrus is going to be cautious. Ohio combining with Scylla, and now with the Remnants damage too. Beautiful plays coming out early here from Radiant. They're going to look to push back Yif as well. There's no escape for the Lion. There'll be a slow and painful death as Spawn.496 will surround Yif inside the river. Second kill for them, and they might now look to connect down bottom as GY, he's still posturing pretty far out in the lane.
Obviously looking to get as many points into that moment of courage as possible. It makes sense against the anti-mage, but AM continuing to have a good game down here. I think you're totally fine if it's going
GY
even
showed.
across the board.
He's actually going to look for the duel with Citrus showing up. They've got the burst thanks to the Sonic Wave, and even with Spawn.496's support standing nearby just in case it's not enough, and now even Zhao Bonbon might be chased down as Citrus 3 points in the Scream. Maybe a little bit hesitant to dive deep thanks to the use of the Shadow Realm, but nonetheless a great first use of the ultimates combined together.
They were a little bit slow on their rotation through, right? You just got a bunch of kills there onto the line and the Queen of Pain in the river. You had the heroes around to be able to close in onto the Legion Commander who didn't have the mana. And I was like, wow, really? He's going to be using that Soul Ring there? He is already on such low mana, but yeah, the gap close coming through from the Queen of Pain. It was the unexpected
He's going to be
play.
cautious still. Looks like the supports will hit back with Ghosts. Getting a little bit of revenge here. First kill, second kill. First though, however, with the Mana Void, and he's still looking pretty comfy with the net worth. Second at the moment.
I mean, that's what I was expecting to happen a minute ago, right? Where, oh, this is the blink, but that's okay. That's okay. He's got the Quelling Blade. He's able to cut it out. But yeah, like it's a kill that probably didn't need to be given up to the Queen of Pain. It's some dual damage that probably didn't need to happen. And of course, with that Mana Void on cooldown now, he just needs to go back into the jungle anyway. So yeah, I feel like it's just one of those tiny little misplays that have given Ragdoll that little bit of extra juice, you know, that they needed. Nearly closing in on the belt of strength there on Citrus. It's pretty clear that he's realizing he needs to tank up a little bit more. He's going to, I would say he's probably going to have it on the strength treads quite a bit on this Queen of Pain in a lot of these engagements. The 2 Null Talismans provides a bit of stats as well. And then, of course, that infused raindrop, such value early, especially early on into the game, that, you know, he kind of does need to be that frontliner until the Blink Dagger comes online for the Legion Commander. And it's going to be a little bit because he needs to finish up that phase boots first.
Dark Willow. A deep expedition. Might lose his courier as well, but Citrus going to look to target down the hero. Still even jumping on. They even get a little bit of benefit out of it. So he's found the items. I'm still very impressed with how Spawn.496 have played this. I think they've done a really good job at utilizing this Grimstroke early with the Ember Spirit as well. That's definitely the hero you want to combine with, and we're seeing it again. Smoke Up is 2. Looking to transition their way down to the bottom side of the map as Grimstroke's got the level 6, but no point in the ultimate. But GY again is just going to be stepped over the mark as Red come in, drop that first use of the arena.
Nice rotation. That's what we want to see. And Ohio doesn't have any points into the Soulbind just yet. No real value coming through from it. So I completely understand. He just wants to enable his team fight as much as possible and as frequently as possible with the Inkswell having a lower cooldown there. Of course, that plus getting the 3 points into the Phantom's Embrace just to make it a little bit more difficult prior to those BKBs coming through. Oh, mid lane Citrus getting dived a little bit there. But again, just a tiny bit slow on the connection coming through there.
They might jump
Ohio.
GIF.
Denied the regen rune. Nicely done. But yeah, if he's there, if he lands the Phantom Embrace onto the Quap, she's dead. You know, you'll have the time to get the ink swell off as well after the fact, and it's probably a dead Queen of Pain. But instead, Citrus able to walk on back to the base, rebottle up, and well, wouldn't be surprised to see them try and make a play around this bottom side of the map. As soon as Red reveals himself to be playing down here, might look to see Queen of Pain come through with the dual damage towards the bottom side and try and pick up that kill. Now, the mid lane, a little bit more of the higher priority there with the siege creep, I suppose. Menu Ping was dealing with it, but Citrus, he's a greedy core. He wants to pick it up as quickly as he can.
Yeah, he's even thinking about going the Orchid this game here for Citrus. We've seen a lot of the Sunjin Kaya with the Queen of Pain, but offering for a route that's going to give them a little bit more control early on. Do you like this? Because, you know, AM's a natural Manta builder.
Yeah, but I feel like the main target isn't going to be Anti-Mage. I honestly think they're probably going to ignore Anti-Mage for a lot of this, unless he joins in a team fight that he probably shouldn't. So it's going to be the rest of the team that's the main target. Probably Mars is who I would be looking to go on to, because without that, he's going to have a lot of ability to, again, just lock people in and allow them to have this key team fight, right, with the Arena of Blood, plus the Terrorize, great control and great damage as well that you're able to output. The reason I don't say the Dark Willow is that she's building into the Yule Scepter herself, so once that point reaches up, there's really not much point in going on to the Willow there.
Dark Willow is trying to give them some information here. We already see they've got really nice heroes to combine with. Dark Willow and Mars, Grimstroke and Ember. There's kind of two Roman duos with the gang squatters. Well, Menu Ping's going to be the one to face check the high ground. Cost him his life. He doesn't have any heroes to back him up there. It's a pretty long death timer this early on. I mean, 3 seconds I think it was, but luckily enough, they'd already cleaned off the mid creeps that are about to connect, so he should respawn fast enough so they can look to set up a formation around the area.
Yeah, that sort of face check's totally fine. I mean, the thing is, it's just making space for the Drow Ranger, who's got the Yasha completed fully on the Drow Ranger, I believe, and the Dragon Lance, so very nicely done there on the Drow. I don't know if you can make this defense happen. They're clearly wanting to keep this tower as long as possible. Just trying to drag the creep aggro away. You've got a little bit of a backstep happening from GY, but he's only 600 gold away from that blink dagger.
Queen of Pain might be in trouble though. Great utilization here with the chain control, and Citrus is in trouble with the use of the observer ward. They get that information. They're going to penalize the positioning. It's going to be Ragdoll that can get some retribution with the kill on the Dark Willow. GY a little bit too late, unfortunately.
That combo, very effective. Terrorize into the Arena of Blood. There's very little that you could do about it unless you have that BKB and you're really quick on the fingers there. So there's some important pickoffs onto Arjit. It wasn't quite a 3k net worth lead. It was probably about 1.5 at the 10-minute mark. So Ragdoll not doing quite as well as we were expecting, but I think a lot of that credit needs to be given over to 496. A lot of these rotations working out a little bit better than I was expecting, but they still did leave a few kills on the cutting room floor, I feel. Red on the top side, he's looking to play around here, just be the tanky hero that he is. Try and keep this wave pushed in, force Ragdoll to play a little bit more defensively than they might like. And he himself is only 200 gold away from his own blink dagger. So going to be coming out around the exact same time as GY. So it'll be really interesting to see in about a minute's time where a lot of these rotations do look to happen.
Well, at least for the carry here from Spawn.496, this is a great timing with the Battle Fury. Not naked by any stretch, treads with the Wraith Band as well, and he's got some stacks to continue farming as well, so Ghost has done an exceptional job to find this early item, but still he's going to need a couple more afterwards until he can start showing up to the fights, and that's the power of the Drow versus the Anti-Mage. You don't need 3 items to get involved.
Well, the first smoke of the game is going to be Ragdoll. They have their blink dagger, but
instantly
so
spawn
does
as
the Mars.
well.
Yep, smoke on smoke. This is what I was saying in a minute's time, and they've got the vision advantage on Ragdoll.
GY is going to jump onto Ohio, but a great use of the silence, and now Red as well with the follow-up. The Land of Spear connection, blowing up the Legion Commander. Now they can turn to deal with the Queen of Pain afterwards as well, as Citrus blinked into the middle of it all. So Spawn.496 showing their prowess with the team fighting, and Menu Ping, he stuck around. Yiv's going to be able to charge up, and a beautiful setup with that Earth Spike. And Yu Ping even committing with the ultimate here, so he's able to get out of dodge. Let's see if they can defend the tier 1 tower, however. Tombstone still in the arsenal. They got Drought to kill off the creeps, and yeah, they'll push him back. In fact, they might even kill Red. BT faded, now putting so much damage at the early stages here. So that's still kill for them to find, and more importantly, they do keep the tier 1 alive.
That was such a good playthrough from Ohio though, right? Like it was what I was talking about. When they make those super deep dives,
they've run into GY. Once again, look at this Bedlam damage when a hero is solo. GY playing with a pressed attack, but the healing is not enough. And now Yif gonna be pretty cautious too. It has given them an opportunity though. Simultaneously mid, it's Sillen and Ohio once again combining together. It's gonna cost the life of the Ember though. Citrus will turn it around, but the consequence is the Drow along with the Undying.
Oof. Nearly even one-hitting them there with Ohio with level 4 in the Stroke of Fate. But yeah, it's exactly what we were talking about during the draft, right? Ohio needs to be on point. Might be getting a little bit caught out here, but able to dodge out that Bramble Maze. But yeah, instantly able to get that Phantom's Embrace onto the Legion Commander. Duel doesn't happen. And even just getting the great follow-up onto the Queen of Pain when she looked to commit previously as well. So very surprising to me that 496 are in this advantageous position. And it's on the back of the supports for mine.
Oh, Ja Bonbon. Gonna be in a bit of trouble here. See if they can find that second duel victory of the game. And they should be able to. All right, saw GY very early on. It's been about... almost 10 minutes since his second duel victory, so...
You know, you talk up the supports, and then without a ward, they go and roam into this area solo.
Yeah.
Don't know if you could pick up any sort of kills there, unfortunately. You know, even if you were able to get in onto the Drow Ranger, for example, that might have been farming, she's got the Gust. You know, she's got the Manta style at this point. I think that was the main target that they were looking to find there on Xiao Bonbon, but level 13 now on VT Faded, 2 points in marksmanship. And he's got that Manta style available. So they just want to continue to push forward. This is their timing. They want to take full advantage of it. And they should even... Oh, they don't quite see, I believe, the Observer Ward.
He's waiting here in the wings. Yeah, trying to find that angle.
Everyone else. They need to wait for the Xiao Bonbon.
I mean, Sillen is doing so much damage at the moment as well. Level 12, Maelstrom completed.
They know they've got the vision on the right-hand side as well. So playing carefully around that, making sure to stick on the left side where they know they've got the advantage, considering their Observer Ward was removed. So they're going to go for a full wraparound. I like this. This is exactly what they need, but unfortunately their rotation...
I think they pinged it out.
It's going to be made a little bit obvious. Yeah, the creep started hitting it. You know your ward just got dewarded, so a little bit of a mistake there. And then they're just like, all right, well, VT Faded, we'll just make sure we're standing right behind you. We'll help you out if you get going on.
Radiant need a burst down heroes at the start. It's going to be so difficult if they overcommit into a Tombstone, already a Holy Locket on menu ping. It's definitely the thing you got to be cautious about. This T1 tower is going to end up falling with uncontested.
And they back off together as a team, making sure to do it squishiest heroes first, and then leaving the LC and the Undying for last, and all of them get out of dodge. So nice little rotation through there. It could have been so much more for 496 though, right? Like that's the thing. We want these games to be as close as possible, but there's been a couple of times now where it's just been a tiny bit sloppy, either going solo where you probably couldn't have, putting wards down where you know there was just a D-ward happening, and not making the rotations quite quickly enough.
Are you in agreement here with Ragdoll with how strong they are? Because they're trying to push down a tier 2 tower and they feel like they can 5-on-5 at the moment.
I think they can, but they got to be careful about clumping this closely.
Look at Red. Again. Oh man, what an arena, but even better silence! They'll blow up the Mars. Now they're going to look to turn to deal with the Ember Spirit too. The Mana Void not enough to deter Ragdolls. They've got a huge numbers advantage. The area denial, thanks to the Tombstoners, are going to push Spawn.496 back, and well, there's the answer. They cannot team fight at all. And Citrus is running to the Dark Willow as well. So another pick-off. Ghost is actually going to try and find an angle into the fight. The Dark Willow is somehow still alive, and look at the ink spell go to work. It's Ghost. Oh, we turn it back around. The help of Ohio. They've even found GY as well to their north, and I mean, Ghost has shown up early here on the Anti-Mage. You were speaking about, you know, his recent matches on this hero, and boy, does he look comfortable.
doing real well. Gained himself about a 1,500 net worth lead here. They still do take the tier 2 tower, so taking advantage of that early-ish, rotation, but I know you said they don't have the team fight. I honestly think 496 could have won that team fight. It was just the Dark Willow, the TPs all came in a rainbow, and it just took a little bit longer than they were expecting. So the Terrorize actually only hit for the last maybe second or two of that Arena of Blood. If they had that for the majority of the time, you know, no BKBs yet on Ragdoll, so they had no way to get outside of that arena. You terrorize 3 heroes, that team fight is won. You don't have the Ember Spirit die. You mentioned before that Zillone is doing so much damage in a lot of these engagements. I think that they could have been that could have been a successful tower defense, and honestly a full team wipe if the Dark Willow was just there a tiny bit earlier.
I mean, the supports are doing God's work on Spawn.496. Ohio, actually. Yeah, GY with this Blade Mail is not an easy prospect at all. But yeah,
and now
Ohio level
Jalbon's
13.
level 12. Level 12 on Jalbon. So important, right? The Bedlam damage increases by a huge amount, an extra 50 damage, and has the Yule Scepter as well. So great for offensive moves of anyone that's looking to be on the aggressive side and look to solo farm, and great to defend as well against the likes of a very quick fingers coming through.
Well, that's going to be the blink reveal as well from Yif. Get the kill, GY. They were looking for red up top, but unfortunately they'll just have to get the Dark Willow instead here from GY. So it's up to 50 damage. Another tower claimed as well.
Top tower has fallen.
Maybe just looking to make sure Zillone has his own Yule Scepter before trying to make any of these engagements happen. He's very close to being able to pick it up, but you just want that extra layer of safety so that if you do get caught out with the gust, you know, you mentioned that that was the big thing that it felt turned around the previous fight, would have been the game changer. But Zillone, he needs to buy it up. They're looking to play around this mid lane, but I don't know. I feel like you definitely do need to have this one if you're looking to take this next engagement.
Oh, look at this. Opposite sides of the map, Dire, they've got firm control of Radiant's triangle. Radiant looking for a backstab here, GY. Playing around with their higher ground, the Observer positioning, so it might be in a spot to pop it. Yep, they're going to see Ohio. So now how do they take this angle in? They've already dropped the tombstone, so they need to fight by the tower. No, so they might just have to leave GY as there's no assistance coming out with the Soul Rip still on cooldown. A couple of kills being feeded over once again as, you know, Ghost is really looking good this game. Almost Skadi completed, and again it's the supports, that helping hand here. Ohio and Jalbon looking exceptional.
Yeah, really good effectiveness coming through from this Grim. And, well, they're just going to go straight on into Roche. Why not? No armor reduction for them, but they don't really care. They understand that all of the team fight seems to revolve around this Legion commander. So the fact that they're able to pick off GY a couple of times now to be able to start these engagements just enables them so much. Again, they are lacking a few things that are going to lock people in position to be able to you know, snowball through with the Drow Ranger. And if you take out that Legion commander, all you can really rely on is the Lion.
Roshan has fallen to the Radiant.
Oh, that is Aegis picked
They're
up.
gonna run
That
into
is.
Yif.
They are. You've got the Yule Scepter now on Ember Spirit though. Like, very, very good.
And you ping.
Just with the all chat.
Just tip him. Did Radiant block their own camp with an Observer?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like that. I feel like it's some mind games, right? Like, you can think that someone's farming there, you know? Like, I don't think they've ever been in the area as the spawn box happens. So you could think, oh, someone's farming down here. Let's try and kill them. Oh, let's try and do it again.
I'll tell you what, the callers are going to get very angry when they're pushed down bottom and they're split pushed in like, where do I farm? I need camps.
Oh, that's why Red's doing a good job up here, just making sure it blinks on forward, pushes the camp out, and then backs up.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Well, Spawn.496 are in an exceptional position. Everyone else is very far away from the anti-mage's net worth, which is honestly just an anti-mage game. Like, that definitely feels like what always happens. But they have done a really good job to play with the heroes that they're most strongest with. Ohio with Ember, Jean Bonbon with the Mars, and Now with the ages advantage as well, this was going to be a very scary kind of 20 to 25 minutes if Ragdoll was able to find the first ages, but
Dire's top
now
tower
for
is under
Spawn.496, they can maybe kind of hold this game in the driving seat and really determine how the next fights are going to look.
Dire's top tower
So they take the
has
tier
fallen.
2 tower. On the top side, they're
Dire's
pinging out
middle
that
tower
Ghost
is
doesn't
under
have a
attack.
TP, I believe. So they're looking to make a little bit of a rotation here. Who are they going to run into first? BKB's recently been picked up by Red, so you can't really find
They've
him
got
anymore.
really
Look
good
at the
vision around the
positioning.
area.
Is under
And you
attack.
ping. Needs to get rid of the Phantom Brace. He's super important to the team fight as Ghost is actually going to look to jump the middle. But once again, Red, a beautiful arena on the outskirts to combine up with the Terrorize, and now there's no escape thanks to the Soul Bind. As Ragdoll have to stand their ground. Yes, they've gotten rid of the first slap, but the consequence is 2 heroes. They've been looking for Citrus afterwards. Blink up in a couple of seconds, just to the safety of the high ground. So all in all, Ragdoll, and they lose 2 of their supports, but you get rid of the ages.
You get rid of the Aegis, and you've also got
Dire's
this
middle tower
this
is
siege
under
creep pushing
attack.
in onto the mid lane. Doesn't seem like they want to commit all that much. I mean, they used a lot of their ultimates to be able to make this this kill happen, but so did Ragdoll, right? Like, and the Lion was still on the deck for another 10 seconds, but they're thinking better of it. They're going to back on up. Oh man, it was an unfortunate situation there. They got the duel in. Oh,
Yeah, Xiao Bonbon might be in trouble. Radiant
Shadow
are
Realm.
trying to lead their forces around the area. Anti-Mage's going to look to jump as Citrus. He committed into the middle, but Ghost is going to be cautious. Manta's already been used. Citrus out to safety. Dire, they're actually going to look to go in. It's Spawn.496 though that are taking the fight. BT faded with the BKB. They're going to try and target down G-Way. Oh, what a use of the counter spell as Ghost sets up the 2-man stun thanks to the Lion Earth Spike. And now they'll jump the Undying as well. Hey, Ghost just
very
performing on
impressive
another
team fighting.
level.
Yeah, Ghost performing fantastically.
Dire's top
The fantastic
tower is
setups as
under
well, right?
attack.
Ohio, I feel like him and Zillone are pairing together amazingly, and but they're in
Dire's
onto the high
structures
ground.
are
27
fortified.
minutes in. Maybe even popping it a little bit early, not giving the creeps the protection that it needs. And
They've run into the Queen of Pain. Citrus actually going to look to pop the BKB, but this Shadow Realm is so annoying.
Dire's top barracks
And
are
look at the
under
time
attack.
wasted. Barracks are getting sieged up top. There's no chance he gets his solo kill, right? I mean, Bedlam's about to expire. Shabonbon!
yep,
Where'd they
that's
caught
the
it?
power Dark Willow.
BT Faded.
Dire's top barracks
he's a
has
GG.
fallen.
You've paid for what you've done.
All right.
What?
Radiant victory.
This is not what we were expecting, that's for sure.
Wait.
So many solo pickoffs coming through. We both were thinking Ragdoll. I mean, I still don't feel like it was an anti-mage game. I'm telling you, man. It just feels like the opposite of whatever we were thinking. But I got to give the shout out to Ohio, right? Like, didn't die a single time on this Grimstroke and always in position to be able to get that turnaround with the Phantom's Embrace, with the Inkswell, enabling Zillone in such a big way. So, big first win coming through from Spawn.496. And honestly, I don't think this was like, you know, the situation we were talking about before where Ragdoll, they played to the level of the team that they're facing. I don't think Ragdoll played that badly. I think this was just a good overall performance by 496. And the thing is, on top of that, I also feel like they had some very clear avenues for improvement. You know, just very like minor things. But, you know, if they're able to even put those together, then imagine what they're able to do in the later stages of this DPC. But it's just game 1. You never know what could happen in games 2 and 3. It seems like a bit of a trend, right? Where the top teams do sometimes occasionally drop game number 1, but then they come back and just blitz through 2 and 3. But we'll have to wait and see because
That wasn't a good sign though. Like that.
No.
I know we're speaking a lot. We both like Ragdoll's draft. Spawn.496 were an exceptional performance though. Like I think they played this game exceptionally well. I know you were saying there's little things for room of improvement, but overall that was like, this is not the Spawn.496 that we've been seeing. They haven't won a map so far in 3 series, and then they come out with Ragdoll. They give them all their heroes, a super comfortable lineup, and they just outperform them. Like the lanes started bad, but then they did really well, got some, you know, key kills. I loved how we saw the Grimstroke impact playing with the Ember Spirit to kind of get him some net worth after the rough matchup versus the Queen of Pain. Xiao Bonbon did exceptional with the Dark Willow as well. It really felt like this game was off the back of the supports here for Spawn.496. Like they set up for team fights perfectly to enable them to be in this position where they could then, you know, take that Roshan, get map control afterwards, and then force Ragdoll to call it quits super early on. I'm excited to see what second game's going to look like, because what's the thought process in the Ragdoll camp? Like, that felt like an early GG call. I know teams like Invictus Gaming, when they feel like they've completely missed their timing, they're like, all right, let's just call GG. Let's not waste any more brain power at all. Let's tap out, get ready for next game. Maybe Ragdoll have that mentality, or they, truly something's not clicking today. But for Spawn.496, man, what a game one.
Yeah, absolutely. And big props to Ghost as well. I
Yep.
feel like he got out of that laning stage far better than he probably should have. But for me, it's the supports. I'm going to give it to Ohio. Not a
Same.
single death, enabling everything. What a player. And that's the experience that comes through. But that's game one wrapped up. Game two coming up shortly.
Be about a 10-minute break here, but when we come back, it'll be Spawn.496 taking on Ragdoll in our game two.